Welcome back to Farming Simulator 2019 with the Rude Man. We're back on Simon Family Farms, and yeah, I started harvest. So we got a lot of potatoes and we've got a lot of corn. The corn is still too wet though. Let's take a look. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, game time. Let's shoot, there's already somebody in the combine. There we go. Good old Scorpion. Yeah, still too wet. So we're waiting for that to dry out. Now, we got lots of stuff to do because we've got a lot of potatoes. So let's get back started. I did, after the last episode, I finished the field that I was working on down below there. And we're now upwards of that area. I finished 26 and 27 down here. We're moved up to 16 and 15. And then we're going to be moving to 17 and 18, 20 and all of these over here. Alrighty. Let's go. I'm going to put Dar to work. See how she does. And then I'm moving over to this field right here, 17. We'll start working it. Now see, that's what I was talking about earlier. Let me fold this back up. Now, with that thing folded for transport like it is, you can't get it in and out of the cab because the ladder's not there. Is that the way this is designed? I'm going to unhook the header and see if that makes a difference. Okay, no, it doesn't. So how in the hell do you get up there? Because here's the thing. To get in that cab, let me turn that off. To unfold the machine, you have to be inside the cab. But how do you get in the cab if the ladder doesn't come down until you're... Now, wait a minute. Okay, so the ladder's sensitive to the seat, evidently. So you get up in there, and then the ladder goes up. All right. I'll buy that. I'll buy that for $1. So evidently the piece of equipment is smarter than I am. So there you go. Alright, so again, I'm going to go around the outskirts of the field and see if I can't start running up and down the field. Oh, also, this harvester and header are leased. I did not buy them. Whoa, let me pull back here so it's not quite so noisy, so I'm not screaming in the mic. I do talk quite loudly. I've been accused of such a thing. Now, in my younger years, I didn't talk at all. I was very shy and quiet, reserved. I learned a lot of what I know by shutting up and listening. So I was a big listener, but I didn't talk very much. And after I get into some of the positions that I had for jobs, some of the positions I had required me to speak to groups of people. And I opened up quite a little bit and got very good at it, actually. Somebody asked me one time about being a good speaker, a good public speaker. One of the first and foremost and easiest things that make you a good public speaker is if you really have a passion for the subject and the knowledge of the subject. Generally, if you have those two things, you can be a good public speaker, or you have the opportunity to. There may be some techniques and things that you can learn, but those are two of the most important things, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you really have a good knowledge of the subject and you really have a passion for it, you can usually do a pretty good job of talking about it. All right, let's see. I'm going to run across this way a little more. This is a very big piece of equipment, and it doesn't turn, well, it does turn pretty easy, but it's a little squirrely. That could be the mod that makes it a little bit squirrely. All right, I'm going to hire Andy to take over here. And then I need to get rid of this truck right here, so let me go put this in storage. With the amount of farm work that I have now, that I have the land that I have, I'm seriously thinking about selling the animals so I don't have to mess with animals in between seasons. So I think I might do that. All right. So Halloween was last night, and surprisingly, we had a few trick-or-treaters. In the last 2 to 3 years, we've barely had any. And, of course, you've heard me mention previously to that, we used to have hundreds. I remember one Halloween 6, 7, 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. We went through a 200 count bag of candy and had to go to quickly to the store and buy a second one. And we ended up going through almost 300 or 400 counts of candy. Now I don't like to give out little dinky little pieces of candy either. I'm talking about at least half-size bars or full bars. Generally, if it's one of the half-size bars, I give 2 of them to each kid. But if it's full-size bar, and of course nowadays full-size bars aren't as big as they used to be. Let's go catch up with our combine, which is not in this field anymore. We need to check on our farm worker anyway. Well, so far it looks like they're doing a bang-up job. Almost done with this field. We can then move it up to the upper field there. And it looks like combine's almost full. Cool. We got a lot of potatoes. Potatoes. I love potatoes. They're one of my favorite foods. Which is good. I mean, we grew up, 13 kids in a family, and my mom didn't work. My stepmom didn't work. My dad had a factory job. He had a pretty decent job. He was a sugar boiler in a sugar plant. One of the most important jobs in the plant. So, he did okay, but 13 kids, a lot of people to feed. If it wasn't for beans and potatoes, that type of food, and we'd have starved to death. It's a good thing I like beans and potatoes, and I do. I eat a lot of beans and a lot of potatoes. Is it dry yet? It's still not dry. Time's going very slow though, because it's still not 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it'll dry out. I'm not worried. It's not like I don't have things to do. I do. I'm busy with the potatoes, so. You know what? I just noticed. Let's stop this. Let's stop Andy here. I just noticed that I did a couple of headlands at the bottom of the field, but I didn't do any at the top. So let's run across the top a little bit here. One of my fallow fields to the right there. This will make this a little bit easier. A little bit. I'm working with the new mic placement in my equipment here because my setup has 2 computers, and each computer has 2 monitors. They were all 27-inch monitors, but one of them went out, and so in front of me, I have a 27-inch 4K monitor that I play on. To the left of it is a secondary one that I put things on that I need to work on while I'm, doing that. To the right of me are 2 other monitors that kind of bend around a corner, and they're hooked to the second PC. So that if I need to watch a stream that's going on or look up information while I'm streaming or playing. I have access to do that. One of them has a webcam on it so that I can see what's going on outside. Believe it or not, I'm not sitting at a window. I have a window to the right of me, but it's behind me. And it's not easily there to be looked through. But beyond that, I like a darker room. And so I've got those blackout curtains on it. So I do miss not being able to see what's going on out of doors. And so I have a webcam that shoots out that window, and it's on one of the monitors to the right so that I can kind of at least feel like I'm part of the world around me, even though I'm not out there. I know it sounds weird. I thought it was really stupid when I did it, but now I'm used to it, and I can't be in here without it. It just makes me feel like I'm not cooped up in a room. It's crazy. It's crazy. But then beyond that, above my monitor that I'm looking at right now, that's right directly in front of me, directly above is a 55-inch 4K television mounted to the wall in such a way that it basically looks like part of the setup for my PCs. And in a way it is, because I've got both my PlayStation and my Xbox hooked up to that. That those two consoles are part of my system here. And so if I'm playing Xbox and PlayStation, I'm still sitting right here in front of my main monitor using the television as a monitor for those consoles. I also have the ability to throw what's on my computer up to that 55-inch television. So it is a fifth monitor. I also have a laptop that I could use, and I have a tablet that I can use. Now, the reason I brought this up is I'm having a new monitor delivered. It's another 4K monitor. It's 32-inch and it's curved. And so I'm going to take the 4K monitor that I'm using right now, move it to the left. It's going to be my utility monitor, and the 32-inch curved one's going to become my gaming monitor. And I'm getting pretty excited, and it's going to take a lot of work because I'm going to take that opportunity to clean up my system. And I would ask each and every one of you, I don't know how you have your computer set up, but I'd venture to say that a majority of the people that have gaming systems and such, if you were to go to your work desk and start taking that computer apart and moving it, you're going to find dust bunnies that would choke a horse. And you're going to have maybe some cobwebs, maybe some dirt from the fans of the PC. You've got some heavy-duty cleaning to do. I would venture to say almost everybody does. Well, I do as well, especially with the amount of equipment I have. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity of when this monitor comes in, of taking my whole system apart and do a thorough cleaning before I put it all back together again. And that's going to do a couple things. It's going to clean up the room, which needs to be done. But it's also going to allow me to do some cable maintenance, because over the years, with the amount of equipment I have, you can imagine I've got cables coming in and cables going out, because it's just not the computers only. I've got HOTASes for flying games. I've got steering wheels for driving games. I've got at least 4 Xbox controllers, game controllers, sitting right next to me. I've got 1 for the Xbox console, 3 for the PCs that I'm using. I've got 2 for the Sony PlayStation. So I've got consoles everywhere. I've got equipment plugged in you wouldn't believe. USB cables, just on and on and on. So you can imagine if you look behind the monitors, it's a monstrosity of cables. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity of going through there and removing cables that are not being used anymore, because as I switch peripherals, a lot of times I'll just unplug an old cable, plug in a new one, and go. So I've got cables back there that aren't hooked to anything. You know, so once you get a system set up like I've got, you don't just jump behind there and start doing stuff. There's a tremendous amount of cables and equipment back there. Now let's see, which truck is this? So I'm looking forward to the new monitor to use, but I'm also looking forward to it in the respect that it's going to make me clean and get a little bit more efficient with my cables. It'd be a good time to make sure I've got new cables anyway, because, you know, technology changes. I'm going to make sure that I've got the best equipment I can have. All right, this is going to take time. This is not my large truck. So let me go empty this, and then I could change it. Tell you what I'm going to do once I get this back. Yeah, I seriously am thinking of getting rid of the animals, because I've got so much land now, and after this harvest I'm going to buy more land, and I'll probably end up owning every field on the map, and I won't have time for working animals. So I think what I'm going to do, this truck right here is the one that I use to feed the animals, because they don't need, you know, that much food. So I don't need a truck that holds that massive amount. But I am going to need it for harvest. So let's just run this guy over here. And let's get out. Do a little maintenance here. Okay, let's repair, customize, and I don't need global positioning on it, but I do have the big engine, I think. Yeah, I do have the big engine. All right, I know what I need to do. Hang on. Wow. The paint's gone bad on me. All right, I'm going to sell this and I'm going to buy a different model. So I'll be right back. All right, I sold the old one. I bought a new one, and it holds slightly more crops. So it's going to work out a little bit better on these big fields like this. Because I want to keep that harvester running. It's got to keep moving, or I'm never going to get this crop off. Oh, that looks awful. All right, let's see how the other combine's doing. It also is full. Okay, they're off and running. All right, let's, I'm going to kick time up just slightly while I'm working because I want that corn to dry and time's not going fast enough. We're 60 degrees now, but it's still, like I said in the previous episode, we had a little bit of rain just before I started this harvest, so... And it's still wet. All right. In the meantime, I am going to run over to the animals. Let's get over here. And I'm going to sell the animals. So let's start doing that. All right, $106,000. That doesn't seem like a lot, does it? One of the things you have to remember, though, that there were a lot of young animals there because I had sold the older ones previously. All right, now the trick here is to find the... There it is. All right. Man, these things really breed. I sold all but about 20 some, and we're still over 100. They just multiply so fast. You'd think I was raising rabbits. All right, 53,000. So half of what we got for the cows, the cattle. Right. So what do we got? Have we got somebody working in here? No. Let's put Rose in here. And have her start picking up some poo-poo. All right. Nope, still nothing. A little bit more time on that 60 degrees. But we're in autumn. We're in autumn now. I have to be careful. The weather's going to start getting cold. Hopefully there's no more rain in the near future to get that corn wet. I got to get it dry, though. So I don't want the time to go too late. I'm trying to give it enough time to dry out. So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to go maybe a little bit longer of that 60 degree. That's well, it's 61 degrees now. So maybe I will slow down time. And I want to stop time as soon as we get the corn dry. Well, diddly do. Now I'm curious. I am curious as to if it's just that one field. Let me double check because some of this stuff was seeded before others. So let's All right, we got 23 here. $23 there. Well, okay, wait a minute now. 23. Yeah. 23%. 23% there. Let's run over to the other end. I can't remember which end of the area down here I started with. I think it was that way. I think I started that way and worked that way. So maybe some of this corn is ready. The more I can get done, the more or the less a chance that I'm going to lose something if it rains again. It's still 23 as well. Interesting. Okay, fine. So be it. Tell you what, let's go back. Who have I got that's not working? Everybody seems to be working. Well, except Rose. I mean, well, she's working, but not on the harvest. You know what? I just looked at the clock, and I think my time's up. I'm going to end the episode here, and when we come back, we'll continue on with the harvest and clean up the poo. We need to sell the milk that's left over. I'm going to settle everything I had going with the animals, and we'll get back to harvest. Hope you had fun. Hope to join me then. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and ta-ta for now.